Hey everyone! So today we'll be making a chicken and pasta dish. It tastes really good and it's really easy to make. So now that I've washed my hands and tied my hair back, I'm just going to go through a couple of the ingredients that we're going to need to make this dish. So first we have some olive oil, a box of pasta, a can of tomatoes diced, 1 onion, and some garlic. And then we're also going to use some breadcrumbs, some grated cheese, and a package of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So I've taken the chicken out of the package and I've cleaned it in the sink. Just rinse it off with a little bit of cold water, not hot water because you don't want to cook the chicken. And I'm cutting it into bite-sized pieces. And I'm just setting it aside in a bowl for when we're ready to cook. And when cleaning the chicken, you want to make sure you get off all the fat, and I like to cut out the it sounds so morbid. I like to cut out the blood vessel-y things. I don't particularly like to eat those. And you want to make the cubes of chicken relatively the same size so that when you cook them, they cook evenly. Like that. You want them relatively the same size. So I've cubed all the raw chicken and I put it in a bowl, and I'm just going to season it with a little bit of this spicy garlic pepper and some salt. So now what we're going to do is dice up some garlic, and I'm just going to use 2 cloves. So what I'm doing is peeling and finely dicing up 2 cloves of garlic. You can also buy garlic just pre-diced, but it doesn't taste as good. Now what we're going to do is dice a small onion. This is a Vidalia onion, but you can really use any type of small sweet onion. Okay, so we're going to put the stove on medium heat, and we're going to add anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I usually just eyeball it. And we're going to add the garlic. Okay, so now that our garlic has started to do this, can you hear it? Now that our garlic has started to sizzle in the oil a little bit, you don't want to burn it, so I'm just going to adjust the heat and lower it a little bit. And we're going to add in the onion. And you're going to saute this onion until it's translucent. So it's a little like see-through. And just sort of get it coated in the oil. And right now I'm just using a spatula, but you can use a spoon, it doesn't matter. So we're going to let that simmer away for probably another 2 to 3 minutes. A nice thing about when you're cooking something like this is if you live in an apartment off campus, or even if you're on campus cooking, is it smells really good. So it'll make your apartment or house smell really good. Or if you're on campus, everyone's going to be down the hall and be like, oh my gosh, who's cooking delicious garlicky things. And if you're like me and you like making friends, food's a good way to do it because everyone eats. Okay, so now that this has been simmering for a couple minutes, we're going to add in the diced chicken. That wasn't as pretty as I wanted it to be. And you want it to space out. You want to give the chicken room, don't crowd it, so that it gets cooked evenly. You don't have raw pieces randomly. And you're going to cook this chicken for probably about 2 or 3 minutes on each side, so just make sure you're stirring and turning it. Chicken's been cooking for about 5 or 6 minutes. And it's almost cooked all the way through. A good tip, like if you want to check to see if the chicken's cooked, I like to just press it, and you can sort of feel like if it's really mushy, then it's not fully cooked all the way, but like other pieces like that are smaller get cooked faster. So you can press those, you can sort of feel that they're almost pretty much thoroughly cooked through. So that's why it's important to cube the chicken relatively around the same size. And also you want to make them not too big because you want them to be bite-sized. You want them to like fit nicely because you're going to stir them in as a sauce with the pasta. But you don't want them to be so small that it's like ground chicken. Because I mean, you can do that. You can use ground chicken for this. But I personally like to have like the bites of the chicken. But you can definitely substitute ground chicken, which I guess would make this sort of like a chicken bolognese, because it's usually made with beef. So the chicken's just about cooked. So what we're going to do next is add our can of diced tomatoes. And then just stir that in. So at this point, after adding the tomatoes in, this would be where you'd add vegetables if you like, depending on if you're using cooked or frozen vegetables. I would say for frozen vegetables, depending on how frozen they are, I would cook for maybe another 5 minutes. And if they're cooked vegetables, maybe just 2 or 3 just to get them warmed back up on the same heat level as the sauce. An important step is you want to cook the pasta for 10 to 11 minutes, or if you're using a different kind than penne, sometimes it says a different time, but 10 to 11 is the standard. So when you're cooking the pasta, when it's just about time, you want to check and make sure it's not too overcooked. So kind of check it pretty early. And this needs another minute or so. So we'll put on the timer for like a minute. Once the pasta is fully cooked, you're going to drain it and then put it into a bowl with about a tablespoon of butter. Mix that around and then add the sauce in. When you're done, you have the option to add some cubes of mozzarella cheese and some finely chopped parsley. Enjoy and good luck.